I just left the elementary school, man. I had a blast. So career day at Yates Elementary. I had a blast. And you're going to tell me we're live already, right?
We are now.
Well,
I don't know if anyone will be logged in.
no, it's okay. So first off, good afternoon. Chief Drew here with the Newport News Police Department, and this is our chat with the chief session for the month of April. So I'm about 5 minutes early, and that is unlike me to start anything early. But I have another meeting at 1 o'clock that I asked to zoom in up at the state capitol. I was lucky enough and blessed enough to serve on the committee when individuals that are names on the memorial wall at our state. So there's a meeting today, this afternoon, and I'm going to be able to spend a little bit of time there, but I couldn't make it up there and back. So I'm going to do that on Zoom. So I'm going to go to about 5 minutes till 1, and then I'll jump off here, run across the hall, but I wanted to get this session. I didn't want to skip it. So good afternoon. I apologize for starting early, but we'll just do 5 minutes. So Ms. Cox, thank you. Jocelyn, thank you. Good morning. I guess it's right afternoon. Good afternoon to you both. I hope it does it. Well, I got you guys both here. Does it sound okay? I always hate asking this question. Does it visually look okay? And I'm not talking about a pair. I'm just talking about, does the screen look good? And does it sound doing okay? Because my disclaimer, I'm not allowed to touch anything, right? I can't. You got to sit here, Chief. Don't move the chair. But that's all right. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes people say they have a hard time hearing it. I'll tell you though, best part of the day today, early start, but I got to go to Yates Elementary, Matt. I went to Yates Elementary, and I did it. They're doing like a career day at the elementary school, and so there's different booths, different entities in the gym, and the upperclassmen, third, fourth, and fifth graders are walking, maybe second, are walking through, seeing the different entities, and I got to talk to kindergarten and first graders, and Ms. Cox, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So I got to talk to kindergarten and first graders, and we're asking about what it's like to be a police officer, and I asked them what is their favorite thing to do, and told them why I do this job, and how much they matter to me, and I even shared what we did, all our youth forums that we did. We'll talk about here a little bit. I'll talk about all the youth forums that we did at each high school last week. Rob, thank you, my friend. I'm glad you're here today. And so there's other individuals that are doing the same thing. So we're kind of going from room to room, leapfrogging. And there was a dance instructor. There was a nurse. And I just pulled them aside because I got one question that nobody else got. And I'll tell you, and I shared with the students. I was open. I was transparent. But each class I went into, the students would ask me, Chief, do police officers like donuts? Every class. They didn't ask anyone else. They just asked every class. So I told each class that was highly classified information, that there's a lot of rumors about police officers out there. But I told them that they promised they did like Pinky, right? I shared with them that it is actually true. That it is actually true. But I had a great time with those kids, and when you got to be careful when you open it up to questions because you get these stories, right? Well, last summer I did this, and my dog, but I will tell you, man, I had a great time. And while we're there, I'll just share with you, while we're on that topic anyway. Rhea, you're supposed to be in school studying. Go back to the classroom. Make sure you're paying attention in class. But no, it's good. So Rhea kind of draws right into what I wanted to touch base on. Last week, I took a group of 4 or 5 officers with me, and we went to every single high school in our city. And we started out at Denby, and we ended up Monday. We did Achievable Dreams because I missed one day. We had to flex. But I will tell you. So I had a diverse panel, diverse backgrounds, diverse assignments. I had Sergeant Willette from recruiting. I had a couple detectives from special victims. Detective Campbell came. Detective Froneberger. Kelly Wells, who's always popular because of the because she's Kelly Wells, right? And well, who's Kelly Wells? So Kelly Wells is one of the best forensic technicians, I think, in the state. But questions about DNA and fingerprints and blood samples and all that. And I love it when she says, and we don't solve the crimes in 45 minutes with commercials like you see on TV. But it was just a great session. The classes were really engaged. The school resource officers also played a part, and you can tell the schools really bond with those SROs. It's a relationship, which is exactly. We talked a little bit about having officers in schools, and that I don't want them there to kids put their cell phones away or get out of the hallway. They're there to build relationships and keep the school safe. To intervene if there's something criminal that takes place, but it's really to protect and build relationships. So I just thought I really enjoyed it. I did not realize, Matt, I don't know if you know, but high school starts early. So if I was getting to schools at 8 in the morning, I was getting up at like 5:30 or 6. It's a little early for me, especially with some of the things we do late into the evening. But I'll tell you, I got up, I made it, and I really enjoyed the interaction. All the schools were great. It was great to go to Woodside and congratulate them. And it was just really had a good time. And I hope the officers did as well. I hope the students did. The best thing about those forums is after the forums are over, to see students come up and pull an officer, a detective, or someone aside and have a conversation. And that, had a great. School officials were there, principals were fantastic, and then very different though, right? Miss Neal, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. It was very different questions from the high school. Fast forward to Yates Elementary today. It was different, but I enjoyed walking down the hallway, getting some high fives and thumbs up. So it was just just starts the day off right. So yeah. So a couple of things I want to share with you. Let's see. I did not go to school today because I didn't have to miss. Oh, I see. So you skipped. Oh my gosh, you're going to get me in trouble. So a couple of things I want to start out with. The mayor tasked us, if anybody saw, and if you're just logging on, I do want to go back and say I started about 5 minutes early because I'm going to jump off about 5 minutes early. I've got to be on another meeting, and it was supposed to be up just outside of Richmond. It's the group of us that meet about validation of names on the memorial wall, and I couldn't get up there and be back, so a couple of us are going to zoom in. So Sarah, Christina, how are you? Is that a ghost? What? I love the emoji. It's good to have you here. Thank you. So if you remember the State of the City address, the mayor asked, Chief, I'd like to see us strive for a 15% reduction in gun violence, primarily focused on our homicides and our shootings. 15%. So I know we still have 3/4 of the year to go, but I look at it daily, and I look at it monthly, and I look at it quarterly. We'll look at it half year, and then of course at the end of the year. So where we're at today, and we're in mid-April. By the grace of God, we've been blessed with a great start to this year. We currently, this time last year, we had 10 homicides in our city. We currently have 3. That's a 70% reduction. And this time last year, we had about 22 individuals that had suffered gunshot wounds, non-life-threatening shootings, or non-fatal shootings, right? Shootings that you didn't decease from, you didn't die from. Last year, this time we had about 22. Right now, we're sitting around 11. That's about a 50% reduction. So, 2 disclaimers. 1, maybe 3. Again, I know we're only a quarter of the way through the year, but if those numbers were reversed, we'd still be having a different conversation, but we'd still be having this conversation. 2, I know that those homicides and those shootings are still individuals. We look at them on a flow chart and chart plots and diagrams, and I want to know if our strategies are working. Are we seeing shootings decrease or increase? Are they staying constant? And we have to try a different strategy. What's working, what's not working, and being fluid. I know that every one of those individuals who is a homicide or is a shooting is a victim. It occurs in our neighborhood, our communities. It affects them. It affects the officers that investigate those cases. And all those individuals victims themselves, but also their family, right? Family of their loved ones. So I don't want to ever think, oh, you just look at it as numbers. I don't. I'm telling you, I don't. They are individuals. And it's important to try to bring resolve as much as we can to clear or solve that case, determine what had happened, and try to prevent any retaliation, right? Sometimes one incident can lead to 3 or 4 or 5 follow-up situations, so we try to address it. And there's a couple things that happened last night that I want to get some briefings on because I don't want to see them escalate. But violent crime, we're down about 15% for violent crime as a whole, but shootings and homicides are really where I'm focusing on. I think there was an article on one of the news outlets today. I want to follow up with that. But like I said, a lot of prayer, a lot of pastors and churches, individuals in our community calling in saying, Chief, we're praying for the department, we're praying for a crime reduction, we're praying for a reduction in violence, and I believe that plays a huge role. But it's also the hard work the men and women are doing day in and day out. The officers who quick response, investigation, the detectives who do the longer investigations, family members or individuals who come forward, citizens taking back their communities, our investment in technology, grassroots organization, Not My Child, my friend Adrian, Devon, Troy Catchmore Kids, the programs where they're investing in people. It's just a holistic approach. The Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the fire department, patrols when they're around, what they see, school system. It just everybody plays a role, and I think that's how we have to wrap our hands around some of the issues that we saw last year and faced last year. I think we have to move quicker. Child Protective Services, police department, schools, sharing information. We're all touching the same individuals, the same people. So, yeah, I just think it's a citywide approach. I know the mayor and city council fully support. Stay up to beat on. Myself and the mayor talk regularly. Myself and the city manager, Mr. Archer. Strong conversations, a lot, whether it's in the evening or on the weekend, just kind of where we're at. How are we looking? What do we need? It's just a good team approach, citywide effort, and it's been so far this year we've been very, very blessed. So Matt, let me scroll up. Let me get a couple that I saw. No, go up one more. Who was a good after? Miss Neal got Bernice. Hi, Chief. Praying we still find my sister-in-law, Shanita Lewis. So Bernice, let me tell you, special place in my heart for you and your family. Very, very hard situation. I completely agree with you. Praying that we do find her, that individual responsible would open up, or that something would lead, or something would break, or something would lead us to a particular location. But I totally understand. I pray, I hope that your family is doing, I know there's still some parts that aren't closure, but I hope that, I know I have met members of your family and we've talked. You have a very, very strong family, a very, very strong church support, grounded in faith. These kids are amazing, and threw me a curveball, Bernice. I'm right there with you, and I appreciate you, appreciate the conversations, and just want to say, yes, those prayers are still coming. Kim, good afternoon. Kim, good, yeah, still afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for being with us. I hope all is well. Did Bernice send me something else, or is it for me?
Yeah.
Oh, Chiefs, what happened? So, Bernice, what happened with the teenagers that shot another teenager of Old Courthouse? Why no follow-up and telling community what's going on? So, Bernice, sometimes we won't put some information out because case is ongoing, and we don't want to get information out there. It's a hard line when we talk about open and transparency. I can never talk about. Matter of fact, I got a call from a reporter before I walked in here, and there's an anniversary coming up of a case that a reporter wants to talk about, and I have to be very, very careful. I just talked to the Commonwealth Attorney as well. I want to be very, very careful. Those cases matter. They never go away. They're still important to us. We're still working them, but I got to be careful that I don't put anything out there, or that something doesn't get out that would hurt or jeopardize the case. So yeah, that's some of the reason is I can't do follow up because there's some moving pieces, and to be in a situation where a reporter might ask, and if I see if I give a reaction or say something, that I just got to be very, very careful So we try to notify when something happens, but then after that, I don't really want to play the story out in media. It needs to play out in a courtroom and let the investigators, things that I could say or that we could talk about might alert someone that, hey, you're on our list to be interviewed. Or there's some things that might happen before that interview takes place. So that's just some of the reason. But I do clearly get. We try to keep the family as much up to date as we can, but I do have to be very, very careful about doing follow-ups and putting out. I need to let the court case and the investigation take its course, if that makes sense. It's Joy. Joy. Good afternoon, Joy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Ms. Guzman. Hey, Chief. Ms. Guzman, thank you very much. It's good for you to be here, and I appreciate that. It means a lot. Jonathan, that's for somebody else, right? Okay. Is it Joy? Nope, Robin. Robin, good afternoon, Chief. Happy Wednesday. Ms. Banner, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Happy Wednesday to you, right in the middle of the week. Seems like it's been a long week, man. I had a long weekend, a fun weekend, but it was a long weekend. We'll touch base on that in just a minute, but I appreciate that. Joy, hey, John. Oh, nope, somebody. Okay, I got you. See, man, I'm trying to get better on reading some of these messages come through. Bernice, thank you, Chief, for your support and talking about the issues that have a big heart. And Bernice, I appreciate that. And like I said, there's some things that are working. A couple of cases we talked about. But yeah, if I could, one wish today would be able to find your loved one. You get close to cases and families, and all of them are important, right? All of them matter. But the situation and circumstances, that would, if I, one wish today would be yes. Good afternoon, Chief Drew. Thank you again for coming to Denver Youth Baseball League opening. Oh, hey, Jared, man, I had a blast. Man, you jumped me. I was going to talk about what I did this weekend. So that's a great lead-in. So on Saturdays, it's I kind of get to get away a little bit and do some community events. And I started this Saturday. And Jared, I got to tell you, man, I started this Saturday, and I went to up to Denby Youth Baseball League opening day. So I first got to come in, and I teased the kids. They were doing picture day, right? I remember when I was a kid, you got your uniform on, the cleats off, right? And you see kids with the hand glove on the wrong hand and batting gloves. I'll tell you, man, I had a blast. Photographer was great. The pictures they were taking. I got to see some kids that I had met their families, interacted with. It was just really a great day. And then, of course, we had opening ceremonies, and I got a game ball. The mayor threw out the first pitch, threw a hard strike. I'm like, oh, man, I can't follow that. But it was great. Myself and the mayor were both there, had a blast. And I got a hat and a jersey with a special number. It was just a great day, and I had fun. I left there, and I'm driving to the next event, and what did I pass on Jefferson? I saw some kids at the Deer Park League playing baseball. So I pulled over and got out and watched a couple innings, and it was just great. I really enjoy it. So baseball this time of year, very, very near and dear to me. But yeah, I had a blast. So thank you. As a matter of fact, if you're still on here, Jared, on Thursday, I am going to Denby High School. I think it's 4 or 4:30. I'm going to Denby High School for the baseball game there. A couple of kids on the team, or at least one of the individuals is part of our young adult police commissioners. But I cleared my calendar, or at least pushed some things back. So around, I think it's 4 or 4:30, that I'm going to go watch Denby High School baseball. I haven't got to see them play yet. I heard they got off to a great start, having a good year, and I want to get over to see Menchville and Warwick and some others. So yeah, I definitely. So thank you for the invite. Let me be a part. It's a great thing that you guys are doing, and having kids interact. I got to meet a lot of coaches that volunteer. It was just a great program, my friend. Thank you. Richard, right? Mm-hmm. Greetings from upstate New York. I've been seeing more and more comments, videos, etc., in reference to you and NMPD. What does this stuff turn in? Wait, when does this stuff turn into harassment? Oh, are you talking about, Richard, you talking about some of the agitators that we have. So probably like any city, we do have some individuals, and look, I think officers show a great deal of restraint. There is a line. Um, yeah, and I got to be careful. I don't want to get into court stuff. So there is a line, and people have the right to photograph officers. The free speech, but at some point, right, if you're interfering, um, then arrest can be made. Right, you can't obstruct justice. You can't interfere. And officers take a lot. I think some of that's to do with our training and respect. Um, but I will tell you, a lot of times citizens will stand up for us, if you will, and contradict some things. But no, Richard, I appreciate that. We talked about that earlier this morning about some individuals that just, that want to promote themselves or promote what they feel about law enforcement. But I'll tell you this, Richard, those individuals who may not like law enforcement, when something happens, God forbid, and they dial 911, whether they need assistance, an accident, whatever it might be, when they dial 911, we're still coming. We're still coming to help them. So it's hard not to take some of it personally, but I still want our officers and myself to be respectful. But there is a line, and I can promise you that if that line gets crossed, that the charges can come forward. And have a good relationship with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office that would prosecute those cases if they were to be. And so we'll probably leave it at that. But Richard, I appreciate the post. I didn't know it made it all the way up to New York, but thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Sonia, hello, Officer White. Officer White, mom is here. Oh, okay. All right. Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Sonia, for being here today. Alexandria, Huntington Middle School, and ask them why they are to let the security officer search my. All right, let me get back to that one first. Huntington Middle School, and ask them why they are let's try this again. So Alexandria, Huntington Middle School, and ask them why they let security officer search my daughter like that. So I have no idea what we're talking about. Huntington Middle School is going above and beyond their means. The police go to make a difference in the schools. Drew, I'm calling out Huntington Middle School. All right, so we're jumping a little bit. Let me just get called back up. So it's a good. I understand what you're asking. I just want to talk to you a minute. Jonathan, thank you for being here from Hampton, my friend. I appreciate that. Drew, I'm calling out Huntington Middle School. And scroll down to you has another one from Alexander. I'll catch back up.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why things happen in the schools, why the police don't get involved unless it's very serious? All right. So, Alexander, let me share a couple things with you. So we have an SRO in the high schools and the middle schools. We don't have them in the elementary. I don't have enough to cover each elementary school. There's like 23, 24, maybe 25, 26 schools. But if something were to happen, the SROs would respond to an elementary school. So I don't know exactly the situation you're referring to. I can talk with the SRO there at Huntington Middle School. So I'm not sure when you talk about a search or what that is. And I'm not the best at social media. So Matt, is it direct message? Is that?
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, if you would direct message, I think that's the term, a number where I can reach you at, or if you just want to call the police department and ask, can I speak to Chief Drew? It'll get up to me, and if I'm able, I'll talk to you right then. If not, I'll call you back. We can just have a conversation. I'm not sure. Your question about why do we not get involved? Man, it's a fine line when things happen, right? So I'm just using an example. So I don't know the situation you're referring to, but I can tell you if two students are pushing each other and a fight breaks out or starts to get a physical altercation and police and school security separate it, we try to work with the school administration at the school and how's the best way to handle this. Sometimes we get calls from parents like, well, it's not enough. I want this done or I want that done, and we talk with the SRO. And we're not in schools to make arrests unless we're called to, right? So I don't want to say that we are there, for safety but not to enforce everyday school regulations. They have a security staff there, teachers. So it really depends on what the situation is. Communication is key. Some things can be handled at a school level, and then there are times when we have made an arrest because an altercation has been more violent, or because it's been 3 or 4 individuals against one student, or jumping one student, or assaulting one student. So it depends. I don't think that every situation requires law enforcement to be involved. I want to be careful that we're just not making arrests and arrests and arrests for minor things that are handled at the schools. But I'd also, with that same thing, Alexandria, I'll tell you, I think I'm feeling your passion, and if we need to be involved, we will. The schools don't dictate to us if we make an arrest or not, and we've made that very, very clear. I have a great relationship with Dr. Mitchell, school superintendent. If something happens, right, we're a sworn law enforcement, and we feel like we need to make that arrest, then we can make it. But there may be something where an illegal narcotic is found, and well, it must be this person's. Well, can we prove that in court? Are we sure? You know, let's do some more investigation on that, or some communication, or hey, these two are friends. They just got to pushing each other. They worked it out. Do we really need a simple assault arrest? So it just I never look at it as, oh, it's just black and white. Each case is different. We need to take a look at it. But I promise you, if you want to send me your number or a contact number, or you want to call me, I will certainly look into it and see what it's hard to comment on it because I don't know the situation, but I do understand clearly. I get it. There's a reason to have SROs there, and it is all about relationships and what can we do. And there are some lines, but they get blurred a little bit with education and police, but I do think it's important. So if you want to reach out to me in any way, I'll certainly look at it, and we can at least have a offline, me and you conversation if you would like. But if you would like. But I understand what you're saying. I do. And I've had some of those conversations with some other families and parents throughout the school year. That's a great point. Richard, yes, I agree. But isn't borderline stalking following at a police officer home and park? Yeah. So Richard, yeah, like I said, there is a line. There's some things that officers can do. Sometimes they choose not to make an arrest. Sometimes they can take out a warrant and do it later. Sometimes they might want to talk with Commonwealth attorney, or they look at situations of what's the right charge, or yeah. But is your question, is there a line? Absolutely. Stalking or obstruction of justice, there absolutely is. And like I said, sometimes people do it just because they want more attention. They want to talk about it. And I get it. You know, I get it. What I will say is this, is I do not believe, I don't think it has hindered us in the work that we do. I mean, it is, you know, it bothers all of us. I mean, there's, you know, but some are better than others of shutting that out and focusing on, hey, here's a car accident, we're going to deal with it. Hey, here's a situation, we're going to deal with it. Hey, look, this is a crime scene, you can't come in here. And that's where we get that line, right? So you can stand here and yell and make any comments you want as long as you're not intruding or obstruction. But if you come under that crime scene tape, or come in and you push us or make us or force us to make an arrest, we will. It's not our intent. We'd rather focus on what we're doing, but we can't be bothered or interjected, if you will, in the situation we're doing. People have a right to have situations investigated. We're not going to make a traffic stop and have someone walk over our shoulder. That we're not going to put officers in danger of safety. So I clearly give the officers the authority. And they don't need it from me. I'm just telling them that if you need to make an arrest, if someone is agitating and it is disruptive or crosses a line, then make the arrest and let it play out in court. It's a great. I appreciate that. You should be in school today, young lady. Monica White. That's right. There you go. Stacy Brown Jennings. Newport News police officers are the best. Thank you for it. Well, Stacy, look, it's my sentiments too. I'm probably a little biased, but I see what they do. I read the reports. I see the videos. I have the interactions. I get emails almost daily about interactions with law enforcement. It's, you know, our citizens, the training that we have, the compassion they have, the things that they do, and no one ever talks about, right? Like, I'm sure as we go through here, there may be some comments on here, but I can tell you, I don't know of any video footage that individuals or agitators might see. They don't know about officers paying electric bills, or making sure kids are okay at schools, or going and buying food and groceries, or helping people that are stranded here and trying to get somewhere upstate. or to another state. They don't see those things. And when one person or people just talk about negative, 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 then they tell me they're not really vested. They just want that negative, right? So I get it, but it's okay, and we just keep moving forward and go from there. You know, we do this job to help people, and it doesn't matter who, whether you're pro police or against the police or neutral. You dial 911, you need police services. We're going to be there to help you. So I appreciate that, Stacy. Thank you. Scroll back up. Let me see. Was that Stacy? Oh man, did I miss all these or just jump? Ms. Taylor, good to have you on board. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rhea, I honestly wasn't feeling it today. You want to bring? I ain't doing that. What else we got? It's a good thing as well versed as what it is and not allowed. It's a good thing we are well versed. Yeah, and so Ms. Taylor, I would agree. As long, you know, you can feel however you want, but as long as you're not interfering or cross the line, then there's no problems. I think the court's pretty clear, and I just ask that allow officers to do what they need to do in situations. But again, if there's a line crossed and they feel like they need to make an arrest, then they have the ability to do that. Ms. Whalen, good morning, Chief. I'm just checking in to say hello and thank you and the team are doing. You did start the time. Sorry, I'm late working on back. Well, Miss Whalen, I appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying taking the dog out for a walk, doing what you do. I did start about 5 minutes early. I did start about five minutes early. I've got to jump off here to get on another meeting at the state, and I couldn't get all the way up there and back. So I'm going to Zoom it. As soon as I finish here, I'm going to run across the hall, hook up on that Zoom meeting, and go from there. So, but I hope you're doing well, enjoying this nice weather, and I look forward to seeing you this week. Jeff, hey Chief, Jeff, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, I would like to talk. Yes, I want you to talk to the SRO. So yeah, so if you like, send me a date, a direct message, or again call me. Just give me some background, and if you're saying the SRO, they already know what I'm asking about. I'll be glad to do it. I just like to have a date, time frame that I can ask them kind of what happened or what the situation was. But Alexandria, I'll be glad to do that. Absolutely. And I appreciate. Did she send it already?
She sent a little more info there.
Oh, okay. The security officer searched my daughter yesterday, but wouldn't get me. Is she mad? Made her lift up her. Yeah. So yeah, I think Alexandria. I'm not going to do it back and forth here on social media, but I'll be glad to ask if the SRO was there. I'm assuming it's maybe when they came in or if it was in a cafeteria. I just need some more information to go for it, but I don't want to do it here on social media, just respect for you and your daughter in the school system, right? So I just need a little bit more information, but I'll be certainly glad to look into it. And I have no problem, right, calling up Superintendent Dr. Mitchell and having a conversation. Hey, did you know this happened? It occurred. Do you know anything about it? And I talked to Alexandria, our mom, and this is a situation, blah, blah, blah. We have a really good relationship and open lines of communication. So any way I can help you, I certainly will. Brenda, the good day when we didn't have to have SROs in the schools because we knew it wouldn't happen at home. Act like brats. So Brenda, I'll tell you. Now I get that, and I know it's funny. When I was doing these forums at the schools, and every year, it seems like every year I get some calls like, Chief, I don't think we need SROs in schools. And then I'll get another call of a group, Chief, we want them, we want to make sure, are we fully staffed this year? But sometimes, I can tell you every time I have these conversations, these groups, I never hear any youth. I never have any high school students in that conversation. So I will tell you, I asked every single high school, do you want an SRO at your school? And if you, yes or no, and why? Overwhelming, I'd say 98% raise their hand for yes. And each time I asked them why, it was to build relationships, keep our schools safe, have someone we can talk to. But there were some comments about, but make sure that they're here for that reason and not for other reasons. And to make sure, some students said, it's important, Chief, to make sure, these are high school kids. It's important, Chief, to make sure you're putting the right officers in the schools. We're not just pulling anybody, right? There's a process, there's an interview process, and we make sure we use someone from the schools to help us make that selection. I think that's a hard job, and we want to make sure that we put the right person there to work with our school. So I think it's valuable. I think the relationship's important, and I think it's also important to have the right personality in that school, if that makes sense. Now, I'll tell you, Brenda, I wish we lived in a world where we didn't need it, where it was nothing more than just relationships. But what we've seen, I do think that they reduce, not eliminate, but reduce and give us a quicker response. God forbid if something were to happen. So, yeah, your points, like brats, I don't know about that. Joy, are you really losing officers to other 6 cities because of money? Our city is the best of the 7, and some of them are what I consider dumpster fires. So if that is the case, I didn't quit. I don't, what to say? I don't quite know what to say. Thank you for all you do, city every day. So Joy, I believe that we have the best officers in the state. Now we don't always get it right. We make mistakes. Law enforcement crime. I'll be the first to tell you, but I want to talk about this because I know it's a topic and I get some calls about it. Law enforcement's hard. The stuff that people see, the stuff that they do. They go home and sleep and then go right back. There's plenty of people who want to talk about, hey, they don't get it right, they don't do this, they don't do that. But you never hear the same people say what they do well. And those same people who talk about, hey, they didn't do this or do that, so I want to show this video or that, I don't see them sign up to do the job. It's easy to sit in the chair and talk about what I would have done when you're not going to a call where shots might be ringing out, or you have someone telling you in your dispatch there's an infant hurt, or you're going to a call, there's a teenager hurt in an accident. So that's why when we talk about agitation, kind of in one ear and out the other, we're focused on what we're doing. Unless individuals who agitate want to get on board and do something constructive and help, right? Contribute. So I value the men and women who do this job because of what they see, because of what they give up, because of what they go through, because of how much training they have. And when they choose this city, they matter to me. Now, that doesn't mean I give everybody what they want, but it does mean that they're not just a number here. That I don't just read about when it's a crime scene or an event or they're coaching football or interacting with community events. But there's also, right, there's a financial piece, and public safety is expensive. But I think most cities, including ours, get that. And I believe we are very, very fortunate to have a city manager and a mayor, vice mayor, and city council who support this police department. Now, they ask hard questions, right? The mayor, he'd like to see a 15% reduction in shootings and homicide. That's a top priority for him, and I get it. It is for me as well, for all of us. I wish we had no homicides and no shootings. How do we solve them? How do we continue to decrease them? How do we move forward? We had a rough year last year, and I saw the toll it took on men and women who do this job. I see men and women come here and stay over and volunteer to pick up other shifts, or someone needs off, or someone's been in court all day, right? If you're on midnights and you work 10 hours and then you're in court for 3 or 4 hours, that's hard on your body, and you're taking time away from your family. So all I'm going to say is there's a lot of rumbling about, we can go to other departments and make this or make that. I believe that officers should be compensated for the work that they do. We're the 4th largest police department in the state, city police department. And I ask these men and women to do a lot besides just respond to radio calls. I believe, and I think what you've seen on here, is I believe it's very, very important that we're at those schools, that we're attending youth events in our community, that we're going to community days, that we have building a relationship with our pastors, our faith leaders, that we're walking in communities, that we're doing anti-bullying situations, that we're bringing awareness to domestic violence. All those extra things I think are vital, vital important, and I ask them a lot. And I put more and more burden on our training division to train them in different ways, psychology classes, sociology classes, the history of our city, and the things that the state puts on more and more for officers that we have to respond to. Mental illness calls, children that struggle with autism, right? People have plaques on their walls. They go to school for 4 or 6 years to be experts. At 2 in the morning, we're responding to that. The stuff that they see. They're the first to respond to a death, a suicide, an overdose, if you will. So the work they do is valuable. And there are not a lot of people who want to do it, especially a lot of people who don't want to do it after 5 o'clock. And I think that you have to compensate individuals for the work that they do fairly and competitively, right? Because everybody wants good people. And I think we have some of the best in our city. So am I surprised that other cities might want some? Not at all. Do I believe that our city is going to address, and I don't want to get into this too, but do I believe that our city is going to address comparable salaries? Absolutely. I have faith. I believe in our city manager. I believe in our mayor and city council. We're going to be there. It takes some different avenues, but at the end of the day, where we're going to end up, I think we're going to be there. I'm confident because I know. I get the call. I talk to them. I get the calls that they value what these men and women do day in and day out. Council members will call and say thank you. They'll come and council members have come to crime scenes and I've seen them walk and talk to officers. The mayor is extremely engaged in what the police department is doing and interactions and asking questions. Like I said, it was one of the main points he hit on at the State of the City, and we had those conversations. So, are the officers in Newport News sought after? Yes. Should officers be compensated fairly? Yes. Do I think we will get there? Yes. I have faith, because I also believe that men and women who do this job are not just driven by money. They care. I see them come in, stay late, work over, mentor kids. STARS program, where we work with kids and that are going to be doing a mock trial here coming up next week, that donate their time to do those things. I have faith. And this is a good city. It's a hard city, right? This is the 4th largest state police department, but we're going to be okay in the end. Continue to recruit talent. And when I talk to new officers who want to come to this department, and I ask them, why do you choose Newport News? Why here? And it's not really about the equipment and the uniform, it is about, hey, Chief, we see what you're doing in the community. We see how you're interacting with youth. We see how that you're at all these events. Not the department, the officers, right? The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we hold on to our officers who have been doing this job and have all the training, right? Our senior officers that have all that knowledge. I need them to pass that on to the next group coming up behind them and to make sure that we're doing the best we can. They've got tremendous amount of experience and they matter to me. And if they're willing to stick around another 3 years, I say, yeah, we got to keep them. I'm fighting. I didn't mean to get on this soapbox. You asked me a hard question, and I want to be transparent, but I think we're going to be okay. And I think the officers are going to be very happy with the end product that comes out from City Council, the mayor, and our city manager. I have faith. Now, I know I missed a couple, Matt, so let's go back up. Let me just catch on, or at least say hello to some people. I got Joe Alexander, the security officer. Right, so we're not going to go any further there. All right, who's right above? Nope, we're going.
She's responding to somebody else.
Okay, Rita's talking to somebody. Jerry, do you know your homicide clearance rate? Appreciate all your department do. Jerry, I absolutely do. Our average, right, our goal, the national, which is set by the FBI, the national clearance rate average is 49.8%. So right around 50% is what the average is. We routinely are in the low to mid 60s. We hit 80% a couple years ago. Last year we struggled. This year we've had 3 homicides in our city, and so far we have 1 cleared. So that would be 3.333%, and strong leads on another. So sometimes they take longer. Some cases are immediate. Some cases they take a little bit longer. Some cases we could clear right away, but the witness doesn't want to testify. So we have to find another way to get that information. And sometimes that can be frustrating. Hey, we know, here's what happened. We got a witness who told us everything, but doesn't want to come to court. And it can be frustrating, but I also understand. That's one of the reasons we invest so much in technology. But right now we have 3 homicides in our city by the grace of God, and we have solved 1 and strong leads on a second that are probably pretty close to an arrest. Once we make that, it'll be 6%, right? It's not the best number, but yeah, if that helps you. And then I think there's some that are online to be cleared. arrests that will be made from cases that happened last year. Like I said, it takes a while, probably into this summer, that there'll be some cases that will be cleared for that happened 6-7 months ago. That's great. That's a great question. And Jerry, we don't just track clearance rates, right? There's burglaries, robberies, rapes. If you ever want to go on our Facebook, right, Matt? Our newsletter. There's a newsletter that's put out every week on our Facebook page.
Stats are also on the city website.
In
on
the
our police website.
So the stats are on the city website, right? And you can see what our clearance rates are for all those crimes. We are usually above the national average on each one of those. And we report out every Monday and every Thursday. We're going through those numbers and those crimes and those incidents and giving updates on the cases. Robin, have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you later today. Thank you. Robin, thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be back at 6. I just have to jump off a little bit early today to get on this next meeting. Stephanie, just dropping in while working, wanted to say thank you for all you and your officers do for our city. Stephanie, thank you. That means the world to me. You know, they don't do it for awards and plaques and medals. They do it for things like that, and that's what drives us. You know, the kids ask me, "What's the best part of your day?" And I'm like, "Man, every day's different." And interacting with you all, but Stephanie, I really appreciate that and appreciate all you do. Thank you. That means the world. Ms. Neal, Chief Drew, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you and your officers for your service. And love you guys. Be safe. Ms. Neal goes the same. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for all the support you give us and what you do for this community and your heart for people. I appreciate that. Thomas, Tom, my friend, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Hope all is well. Brenda, police officers have the toughest jobs. They walk out the door every day not knowing that they will be back. Very stressful on their families, at home, and there will never be enough. Thank you. Brenda, wow. Can I phrase that? I might post that on my wall. I appreciate that. And the officer, men and women, believe me, that means the world to them. You know, when someone just tells them hello or thank you, that means the world to them. And it is hard, right? Your time away from your family, times that you work late and can't make dinner or anniversaries, ball games. But I do believe it is a higher calling to do this type of work. And like I'm telling you, it would bring tears to your eyes to see what some of these officers do for families and people and community when no one else is around. I am blessed to work with such great people, and I appreciate that, Brenda. Thank you. Thomas, how does still continue for hire, but they already have 40 plus officers on a medium-sized city? How is the PD not overstaffed?
Come at our numbers. How are we not overstaffed and we continue to hire?
So, Thomas, if you're asking, you know, if we're hiring officers and we're not over, how are we not overstaffed? Because here's the thing: not everybody hired graduates the academy. Not everybody that's hired completes field training. There are people who leave for other jobs or get out of this profession. There are some people that, after about 6-7 months on the job, they don't. This is not what I didn't know I had to work weekends. I didn't know I had to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I didn't know that I had to work on Christmas. I didn't know I had to work on Thanksgiving. You know, hey, you know, the hours are too long. It's too hard on my family. The things I'm seeing, I don't want to deal with. People retire, right? So that's why you have to continue to hire and bring in new people because it's fluid. And a lot of our department are younger officers, and they sometimes will go if someone is being lucrative and offering them more money. So I think that's the reason we have to stay very competitive. But yeah, just because we hire 25, we may start an academy with 25 people and graduate 18. And then that's just the academy graduation. Then we get into field training, and you know, it is oftentimes when individuals, you know, I didn't know it was going to be like this. You know, when shots are ringing out, or you know, I had to experience an infant death. Those things are hard, and so this job is hard. It's not for everyone. Not too many people want to stand in a rainstorm at a crime scene, or come out and direct traffic in 30-degree weather. You know, it's hard. So that's the reason we have to continue to recruit, bring in new people. You know, we do have a number, and when we hit that number, and how about this? People are military. We have a lot of people here in the military and that are still in reserve. So If they get called up or deployed, we have officers that get injured. We've got to be able to have enough officers to respond to the calls. And last year, our call volume was rivaled Norfolk, which is a city much larger than us. So, yeah, that's the reason. And there are not a lot. I talked to departments that are larger than us in our state that are 150, 180 officers short, and it creates a burden because somebody has to pick up that workload. You can't just throw it out, you know. So it's tough. So recruiting is important, and you want to retain those officers that we have. Vivian, Chief Drew, I want to thank you for your compassion for the job that you do. You not only talk the talk, but walk the best of ability, and we are grateful to have you. So, Vivian, let me tell you, I appreciate that. It means a lot, but I am very, very thankful to be here and work in this city. The citizens, the interaction, schools, churches, neighborhoods, business association groups. I just fallen in love with this city. I enjoy it. The men and women who work here, I see the sacrifice. They're some of the most professional, caring people. I know we don't always get it right. We make mistakes, but I'm telling you, they're the most caring people. I look forward to the Fort Warwick Day Festival starting back up with jazz concerts and the midweek concerts, and we're starting down south as well. We just had that big bike race in our city. I don't know if anybody got to come out and see that on Friday and Saturday. I got to attend both of those, and I saw there were a couple crashes, so people got some injured, but man, they got right back up. That was just a great event. I got to see opening day Little League and baseball games, church events, community events. We have our Citizens Academy that graduates this week, and we've had people in our Citizens Academy from all walks of life, people that are retired, school teachers, principals, president of the NAACP, Ms. Brooks, vice president of the ACP, and businessmen, people that are working the shipyard. It's just, I'm excited about that. That they graduate on Thursday. We have our memorial service coming up. May 16th will be ours. We're going to be at Calvary Chapel, Matt, right? Time? At 10 in the morning, we will do our memorial service. There's also, of course, the National Memorial Service up in D.C. for fallen law enforcement officers. And then each city does a service. So we will send 2 representatives from our department to each of the 7 cities around to make sure we show our presence. And I don't want to forget to bring up the DEA prescription drug take back takes part this weekend, Saturday. Next Saturday. I'm sorry, next Saturday. See, I got the date wrong. So it's next Saturday. So not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. And we'll have officers and medical personnel at Centera, Port Warwick, and Riverside the medical office building. And that starts at 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon. So I'll go by and check on individuals. A lot of people that have old prescription drugs, medicine cabinets, whatever, empty that out. We don't want to see it fall into the wrong hands or get in the hands of children, or just prescription drugs that aren't good anymore. It could be harmful, right? This is a place to turn them in instead of just throwing them away and people go through the trash and find them, whatever. But not this Saturday, next Saturday, 10 to 2, Centera, Port Warwick, and up at Riverside, the medical building there, and we'll have officers there as well. Is it Jerry? Or is there anybody before? Joy. Go back up to Joy a minute. I agree 100%. I love the Chief, and I'll just say it. If we were a cop, money wouldn't. Nope. Try it again. Okay. Money wouldn't motivate me to work. And I understand, Joy. I appreciate that, Jerry. A department follows the example of their leader, and if you're so involved in the community, everyone sees at the community events. And I think you're one of the most seen chiefs in all the departments. That shows you care. Thank you, and your answer to Clarence's question. Jerry, thank you, and that does mean a lot. And you're right, it does start at my level. I cannot sit here in an office, drink a cup of coffee or whatever it may be, right, and tell officers to go out and interact with the community, go out and interact with you, go to these community events. So I enjoy that. That's part of the job I enjoy. This morning being at Yates Elementary School, I enjoy that. And I see some officers really take to that right away, and then there's some officers who haven't had the ability to do that in their career. I'm not sure about that, Chief, and then they do it, and I just like, wow. So yeah, I think we have a good reputation for that. It does start at the top, and I can't ask officers to do it if I'm not doing it. So, but it's easy for me because I enjoy it, and I just think that makes for much better relationships. And look, we've made mistakes in our city, police department. But I believe those relationships, those investments we make pay off, right? And there's a trust. transparent, talking openly as much as we can. So I appreciate that, Jerry. It means a lot. Thomas, will NPD ever get a aviation? I don't know. I don't know. It's not something we're looking at right now. Is there a benefit? Yeah, we do have a pretty elaborate drone system. We just got a new drone vehicle. We have several drones, not to spy on people, right, but to look for missing person, has infrared capability. Camera systems are really well. So we can do some creative things with that. Aviation is expensive. Would probably be a regional thing if we did that. I'm not opposed to it, but it's not where my number one emphasis is right now, financially and commitment-wise. That's a good question. Pagans. Greetings, Chief Drew. Always miss these live streams. We're the next Academy graduation. Enjoy attending. So, first of all, thank you. The Academy graduations are a big deal in our city because we make it a big deal. It is an investment for our officers in our community, and our community and new officers are going to be patrolling their neighborhoods. So our next graduation, we'll talk more about it before we get there, but it's in July. We currently have 18 recruits that are about halfway through their training. They will graduate in July. We just had a graduation a couple weeks ago. Everything I'm hearing is they're doing really well in their field training on the street. We started a new academy in April of 15, smaller class, and they'll graduate towards the end of the year. And then we're looking to start another class, I believe, in July. So we continually hiring and bringing individual on. But yeah, we will post that, and we'll have more conversation before that class graduates. And I appreciate you coming, because I'm telling you, it is a big deal, and I want those recruits to see the citizens here care about them. That means a lot. So thank you, my friend. You definitely are the best. Well, I appreciate that. Scroll back up for me a little bit, Matt. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you for being here. But I'll tell you, the men and women who do this job day in and day out, day shift, evening shift, midnight shift, detectives, forensics, they deserve all the credit. I get to work here, and I'm honored to work with such great men and women. So thank you for that. It means a lot. Stephanie, I have a friend whose elderly father died, and he had quite a few old rifles, old handguns, and ammunition. Do you know how she can safely dispose of these? Does the police department have a program of the kind of anything? You know, it's funny. I've had a couple of people ask me that. Stephanie, if you direct message us and send a contact number, I'll reach out to you. There are some things we can do if it's property that you want to give over. When we seize firearms, once they're done with the court system, most of those guns are melted down and destroyed. So there's some things we could maybe be able to help you out with that. Rhea, yep, sounds good. Be good. Is that everybody, Matt? We do all right?
Yeah, we're fine.
We hit them all.
Got 'em.
We were rolling today. So we talked about our memorial service. We talked about youth forums. We talked about the DEA prescription drug take back. I want to make sure I put out there, we'll do it again this evening. Bin etching has been something that's become very, very popular. Catalytic converters get stolen from vehicles. However, what we've seen is if their bin number is etched on, so what happens? They steal it, they trade it in and get money for it, right? So if there's a bin number, though, individuals aren't going to take it. So what we're doing is we do a lot here at police headquarters. We move around the city a few places, and we're going to take that show on the road. So Detective Trong really implemented that. He's done a great job with it. And what we're going to do is we're taking it on the road to Korean Baptist Church in Harpersville Road. We're going to be there on the 27th of April. Is that right? And we're going to start at 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. You can register, but even if you pull up and don't, we're still going to bin etch it. Each 7 cities, each one has its own color, so we can attribute it back to the jurisdiction it came from. Officer gets on a roll bed, rolls up under there. We have some maintenance workers as well. They etch the VIN number into your catalytic converter, spray it. They put it a couple other places, inconspicuous, right? So if anything is stolen or taken, we're able to track it, and if individuals are taking that in. So if I steal a catalytic converter and I go to Matt and I try to sell it, Matt, hey, I'm not taking that. Matt's got his cameras on. I'm the guy. Nobody will buy this catalytic converter because it's been etched. It's got a stolen on. It's stolen. So now what do? I got to get rid of it. But there's cameras there that can point back to me as I tried to sell this, right? So that's how the case works. We're giving any tips away for our individuals out there. Another event I want to talk to you about before I get off here is a pancake breakfast. and that's going to be at Mitchell Baptist Church. So I think we're making them and eating them. So let me tell you, police are involved. If I'm involved, we're going to be eating some pancakes that morning. But it's at Mitchell Baptist Church from 8 to 12. That's on the 24th, this Saturday. Wait, did I get it wrong? It's the 20th, not the 24th. We got to change that. So it's the 20th, this Saturday. Sarah and some others in our department helped put that together. So pancake breakfast, 8 in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. It is okay to eat pancakes at 12 in the afternoon, just letting you know. Mitchell Baptist Church, the 20th, this Saturday, in it's a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club, and officers there will be making some pancakes, flipping some. I'll probably do most of the tasting myself. we'll have some fun if you want to come out and interact with us a little bit. I want to thank the pastor there is great church, great community service that they do. Worship there several times, and just good people. So it is 12:55. I'm going to jump off here. Brenda, my husband is retired from Hampton after 27 years, so believe I do know. Brenda, thank you. Wow. And congratulations to him for his retirement. I hope he's enjoying life. 27 years is a long time to do anything, and in this profession, it can be a lifetime. So thank you for that. I'm going to jump off here, run to my next meeting. We'll be back at 6 o'clock. You back with me, Matt? Matt did a great job today. Let's hear it from Matt. He helped me out today, kept me out of trouble. I didn't mess anything up, didn't touch anything. But I appreciate individuals taking your time. I know life, things happen fast. There's a lot of community things coming up. I got to work with some kids at Achievable Dream yesterday, the STARS program. Attorneys put that on, judges. Man, I was getting cross-examined by high school kids, and the public defenders were giving them, man, I was like, oh my gosh. That's great. That's coming up next week. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be great. So again, thank you. Vivian, thank you. That's a great way to end it. Be blessed. Stay safe. We'll be back here again at 6 this evening, and I look forward to talking to you. God bless you guys. Thank you.